Brother, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, 5 things we learned United against Brentford last night. Now, let's get straight into the top and bottom of it, right? It ain't acceptable for United to be losing the number of games that we are losing. And no one's happy about it. And it makes no sense to have just suddenly, like there's so many people being like, you lot not even asked. No, we are asked, but like, what does getting irate about it mean? Like, 1, did you not expect this to happen? 2, it's just not our style. You know, there's always going to be performative wankers that are going to just try and lose their heads. It's not what I do, and it ain't what the fan channel I work with do. So if you come in here wanting that, you're in the wrong place, mate. It's not what we do. Try and analyse it, talk about it. Of course, disappointed when we lose. We're fans. No one's happy about it, but also got a little bit of perspective in life. So not going to be losing our nappers over it. Let's start with the youngsters. So it was a tough day out for them. Some of them performed quite well. Some of them had real good showings. But it was a tough physical day for them, learning curve. There was a lot of duels lost. Conceded goals on the back of being physically bullied. And it's probably a really good sort of example and showing to a lot of those youngsters where the Premier League can be unforgiving because of how physical it is, because of how contested it is. And I'm not just talking about the pace on the transition, I'm talking about the strength and the size of some of the opposition that are going to, you know, look at the way Amas gets, like, he gets murdered in the air for their first one. And that is literally where you have to grow and figure out how to deal with that. No two ways around it. It's literally what you got to do. Number 2, Garnacho gets a goal and an assist. And his assist and his goal were both great. That's the frustration with him. And, you know, he absolutely gets credit for doing that. And he's added good numbers to his tally for this season. I think the frustration with, certainly my frustration with him, comes because I know that is in there. But what we see more often is the wrong decision. And even the wrong decision with the right result is still the wrong decision. And ultimately the best decision and the correct decision, even if it's not quite getting the right results, will ultimately lead to better results in the long term, because you get what you deserve in the long run. There's always going to be outliers in the build-up. If he takes better, I mean, it was a low percentage shot, but he nailed it. If you take better decisions with your shot selection and you make better decisions when you're in possession and you look to find your teammates first, no one's going to have an issue with you. The problem with Ganacho is that he looks like he's playing for himself and himself alone. And it's a team sport. And at the moment in the Premier League, those that are doing well because of the team element of it. And the team element of it has elevated the likes of Newcastle and Villa and Nottingham Forest into the top echelons because they're playing very much like a team. I still think there's a long way to go for him, but he's delivered a good number of goals and assists this season. Probably enough to see him either stuck around or cashed in on for a high value. But yeah, it was good yesterday in terms of decision making. It was getting better yesterday. Number 3, Ahmed. Come back in at an ideal time, really. There's injury concerns with the likes of Mazraoui and Delo. He was having the best season of his career until the injury. I think there's still levels and gears for him to go, but 7 goals, 6 assists in 23 league games, certainly not bad. Certainly not bad at all. It does look like, because we got quite a lot of players who can play the number 10, even though I'm not 100% sure we've got any pure natural fits, maybe outside of Ahmad himself, for that number 10. I think he's kind of filling in a little bit as a right wing back, and I think he's been good in both, hasn't he? I don't know if I'd say what his best position has been this season, because I think he's been man of the match in both. He's been great in the 10, he's been great as the right wing back. It'd be very interesting to see who we sign, because that's obviously the position that we're the opposite position to the one that we think Ahmad's going to end up playing in, because he is a first choice player for us. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. It's whether or not it's as a right wing back or as the right side number 10. He's first choice as of the start of next season, though, without a shadow of a doubt. And he deserves to be, I think. Number 4, Ugarte. Probably one of his better performances, and probably one of the only senior players that actually stepped up and played, I thought, yesterday. We saw all of the assets of his game on the ball. He broke up play. He was good. He was energetic. He made good decisions. He covered every single blade of grass. And even though I think he's massively divided opinion in the fan base, you've got half of the fan base that's still kicking off that we sold Scott McTominay, and then you've got half of the fan base kicking off because he's not Pogba. And he's neither of those players, but he's probably better suited to United and what United need than both of those players, unfortunately for him. Maybe if he was 6'3", 6'4", he'd get a little bit more love, because I think that's the only problem in his game at the moment, is he's not very big. Aside from that, he does everything I thought he was going to do, and nothing that I didn't think he was going to do before we signed him. I really think he's been good. He's had a couple of iffy games. I mean, you know, we are 17th in the table. I saw a comment the other day which was like, you said that Mazraoui, De Ligt, Ugarte have all been good signings, and Euro have all been good signings, yet we're 17th in the table. And yeah, okay, I did, and I stand by that. But it's not necessarily their guys' fault. You know, it's completely ignoring the fact that United just can't score goals, isn't it? You know, and we've had probably our best attacking player in Ahmad missing for the majority of the season. You know, that why are we down in the table? Yeah, that's exactly why. Literally exactly why. And because people will just look at the scores, the goals we've conceded and things like that, and then they extrapolate that to, if you just give us a forward, everything else stays the same. But it's not necessarily everything stays the same. If you are better and more potent in attack, the opposition has to think about and deal with you. If they don't respect you and they don't respect your attack, they can take more risks with their offence and they can put you under more pressure in your defence. That's how it works. You know, you used to watch this all the time with United. We had a very strong left-hand side, and it was like Shaw, Pogba, Rashford or Martial. And United always used to attack down that left-hand side, and we were very strong down that left-hand side. We didn't get attacked too often down that left-hand side, and we always attacked down our left-hand side. On the right-hand side was Wan-Bissaka and nobody. And you could see opposition didn't bother worrying about, when United were attacking down the left, they all started stacking up on the left, our left, there, right, to prevent us coming down that side. And they left Wan-Bissaka because they're like, he's not going to do fuck all, leave him. So you can't just say, it doesn't matter if we get any attackers because our defence is shit anyway. Defending is a team sport, and so is attacking. And if you've got a more potent attack, weirdly, it will improve your defence because opposition will take your attack more seriously and they'll commit less men forward when they're attacking, and therefore your defensive numbers just go up. It makes fuck all sense, but it makes total sense. Does that make sense? Probably not. And finally, negatives. Well, it's 1 win in 8. It is the worst ever Premier League season by some distance. The talk shows are absolutely losing their minds. Arsene Wenger yesterday coming out and saying that United don't deserve it if we get a Champions League place by winning the cup. Well, look, mate, you sign up to the rules at the start of the season, and those rules at the start of the season are what qualifies what for what positions. Liverpool fans, all of the Champions Leagues you've won in the modern era have come on the back of not being champions, so pipe the fuck down. How about that? Arsenal, when you've done anything... Oh, no, you haven't actually done anything. Never mind. The argument that Manchester United don't deserve to be in the Champions League because of our performance in the league is mental. We qualified for the cup by winning a cup, right? Let's get that in your heads, right? That's a doable thing. We qualify for the Champions League if we win the Europa League, getting through the semi-final and winning the final. Why do we do that? Because it's the fucking rules. And no one's had a problem when this has been the case for about 10 years. And it's only a problem now that Manchester United are the ones that might benefit from it. Laughable. Absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely fucking laughable. The Champions League hasn't been the Champions League since they started allowing fourth fucking place in there. Which is the one that Arsenal benefited from the most, by the way. That fourth place trophy, remember that? Football's about winning stuff. Winning stuff should be rewarded. I would go as far as to say I think that you shouldn't be giving fourth place to the champions in the league, to the Champions League qualifiers, and it should go to the FA Cup. If you wanted to reinvigorate the FA Cup, that's how you do it. Now, technically, there is a back way door into it, and you could see Salford or Wrexham in the Champions League. How? They win the FA Cup, like Manchester United did last season, find themselves in Europa League, and go win the Europa League. Boom, you're in the Champions League. Don't all cry about the fucking sanctity of the Champions League when it's been the second, third and fourth place cup for the last 25 fucking years. Just because United might be the ones that benefit from it. Obvious bollocks. But yeah, it is our worst ever Premier League season. We haven't even hit the magical 40 points that you used to need when it was a competitive division to avoid relegation. The Europa League is an absolute must. If United fail to win the Europa League this season, even though I know Ruben Amorim supposedly did not want this job prior to the summer, he is going to be judged fucking harshly. He is getting, I won't say he's getting away with it. He's getting a lot of time because of how dysfunctional the fucking team is, for one, but because he's undefeated in Europe, for two. The second that changes, if we go and lose to Spurs in that final, he will be under scrutiny immediately. And I think even winning it doesn't eliminate that scrutiny, because his win record in the Premier League is still dog shit. But there it is. Yeah, there it is. Arteta was able to come 8th and win a cup, and that seemingly bought him time to be able to go on and do what he's gone and done. Does 17th in a European Cup mean something? You know, he took over a team that was 12th, 13th, I think, something like that. There's not been enough points. There's not really been the injuries that we had last season, but it has to improve by magnitudes next season. No two ways around it. Please give me your thoughts in the comments and come and tune in for player ratings later. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.